There are all sorts of purity laws. Almost all the purity laws in the Torah are not in effect.
Yeah, but it's essentially the same. She'd be allowed to go to the bris. There's just certain things she can't do when she's there with her husband.
How long should married folks wait until they get it on again after the wife gives birth?
Well, I can't answer that.
Does it ever feel tight again after she's been all ripped up in there?
Okay, this is where I'm done. Okay, I don't know. You answer that.
Once a woman gives birth, does the husband get as much love? Well, I think the answer to both questions is 33.
What?
Clothes and houses cannot get sick. So, chapter 13 of Leviticus is not a medicinal chapter. So, it's zarat. It's not leprosy. This is ritual, not pathology. Scale disease here is not leprosy. In fact, it is no known skin disease in modern times. We're talking about a spiritual condition with some external...
Call it a plague.
Plague.
God brings a plague. And why did he bring the plagues?
Lashon hara.
Lashon hara. People would tell Lashon hara, and the punishment was that they would be afflicted with boils,
disease,
or whatever you want to say. Some sort of skin disease. If they spoke it in the house's walls would get like moldy, and they'd have to scrape down the walls. Got on their clothes too. It's like grotesque.
In some cases, the Torah puts the community before the individual. So folks with these really scaly, yucky diseases are removed from the community until they're no longer all covered with yucky, scaly things.
Oh yeah, they would take them and drop them in like some faraway land like Australia.
Oh, they'd send them to a spa.
No, you castigate them to like some get rid of them. You get them out of the camp
and send them to a spa.
Why do you think? How do you think Australia got started?
So, do they get these cures for skin diseases that the priests pull?
There's really no cure to it. The cure is that you have to do tshuva and you wait the time out until God is done punishing you.
So the only bodily emissions that pollute are semen and menstrual blood. Making a poo is not impure.
I would add also gonorrhea to that.
Yeah, and the sif. And like really dripping, like vaginal and genital discharges.
Because semen is called a shikvat zara, right? It's the flow from sex, if you will. Mm-hmm. And there's also a zav and a zava, right? Which is the flow of gonorrhea.
What are the best ways to avoid wet dreams?
Torah tells us.
Yeah, what is it?
Don't eat a lot of spicy food before you go to bed.
Okay.
You know, we learned that from Erev Yom Kippur,
right.
or also from Erev Yom Kippur, Hilchos Erev Yom Kippur, that we don't eat spicy food before you go to bed. It's a big thing for Spartan because they love spicy foods.
Yeah, well, we all know about Spartan. They're always wet dreams pretty much every night.
Yeah.
It's like ugh.
Because they like the spicy, the
like
Moroccan food. You can't eat that Moroccan food and not have a wet dream. Oh my God! Have you ever had Moroccan food?
Just
wow! I mean, you eat it like
I go to bed and it's just
like,
one long
yeah.
wet dream.
Woo! What am I saying? What are we talking about here?
How do you avoid wet dreams?
Yeah, and also sleep on your side. Don't sleep on your stomach.
Exactly.
For God's sake, don't sleep on your stomach.
Don't rub up and down. Okay, is it true that every sperm is
sacred?
sacred?
Check on the chat room, see if there's any questions.
Okay, is it true that every sperm is sacred, every sperm is good, every sperm is needed in our neighborhood? Let the pagans waste theirs on the dusty soil. God will make them pay for each sperm that can't be found.
No. Okay. It's actually brought down in the Ramah. The Ramah brings it down, who's in the Shulchan Aruch, right? Mm-hmm. That there are poskim, even in his time, who said that between a man and a woman, like anything goes in the bedroom, even if the guy ejaculates outside of the woman's body. There are those who say that's okay. So Judaism doesn't have
like if he has to work in porn movies. So he can send his kid to yeshiva.
Is that your plan? Is that your plan, by the way? Are you planning, like, you know, what From Woman Want? Is that your next movie?
What From Women Want?
Good one, huh? He's thinking about it. I know he's thinking about it.
Is all long-term illness punishment from God?
No, I wouldn't say that. But it is a kapara. You know what a kapara is?
Offering? Atonement?
It would be like, let's say like you had an affliction in this world.
Mm-hmm.
It serves so that in the next world you have it that much better.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people who have it the worst in this world enjoy, like, it's like Las Vegas for them in the next world. And the people who had Las Vegas in this world, it could be worse from in the next world because they didn't have a bad time with it, right? So I'm looking at a really good thing on the other side, right? Because 50 years still single, I'm looking at some happiness on the other side. I can bank on that, huh?
The entire corpus of rituals is out in the open, so the priest can never say, "Slip me some gold."
Hold on a minute. You got a visitor from Silver Spring, Maryland?
Yeah.
Go back in the chat room. Is my nephew in this?
We're interrupting the show. No.
I know, but I mean, like...
No, he's not.
Who the hell's from Silver Spring? That's
Let's
not my nephew.
go on with the show.
Okay.
The entire corpus of rituals is out in the open, so the priest can never say, "Slip me some gold and then I'll cleanse you," or "Sleep with me and then I'll cleanse you." Spiritual seekers don't have to sleep with me to get my awesome spiritual insights. All of the details of my life and thought are on my blog. Very similar to how all the details of the sacrificial system are in the Torah.
Okay.
Clergy who've done terrible things to kids have often said to them, "This is how you will come closer to God." It's a good line, and it kills me I can't use it on adults.
What's your point? Put that down in layman's terms.
I think it's pretty clear, and he who will understand will understand.
Okay.
What are the conjugal obligations of Torah scholars such as ourselves to our future wives?
Well, actually, I kind of touched on that before, but a Torah scholar such as yourself, you have to make her happy in the bedroom. So, like,
But how often?
her wish is
Once
your
a month?
command.
Once
Is
a
that
month?
right? Her wish is your command.
Once a month? I'm not a camel driver.
Oh! As a Torah scholar,
Yeah.
Isn't it every
Once a
day?
week?
I forget that
Is it every
Gemara.
day?
Yeah, there is a Gemara on that, and it says like
No, I think
it's like if you're on a ship.
It's
and you're-
retired. If you're retired, it's every day. But if you're a Torah scholar, you only have to do it on Shabbat.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. I don't remember that Gemara, but I know which one you're talking about. And it's like if the guy's like on a
Camel
ship,
driver.
if he's a ship guy,
A tanner. Not so much. Not so often.
right? What if he's a porn star?
Chas v'shalom.
Okay.
Chas v'halila.
Oh, I didn't want to go there.
It's rare in the Torah that it says this is a law for all time. One example is with Yom Kippur. Perhaps many of the laws of the Torah are just meant to be temporary. Perhaps the Reform are right.
No. They're all for all time. But the question is, are they contingent on the Beis Hamikdash being there? And when in the times of the Beis Hamikdash, right, which is what we're learning about, right, the Mishkan and all, bringing the offerings. A lot of these things are tied into that because you need to bring a carbon. If you don't have the Mishkan sitting up at the time, like right now, then you can't do these mitzvahs. So even though they're for all time, they not for right now. So for the last 2,000 years or so, you don't have those. But we will have them again in the times of Mashiach.
Greg Leakey emails, if you had the money and could live any place in the world you wish to, where would you live? What kind of housing would you live in at this location? I'd like to have a snug little warm apartment in Jerusalem.
Well, I've already done that. No, thank you. For me, it would be one of two things. Ready? If I had, if I had the money, how much money are we talking about? Because if I had a ton of money, right, I would move to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I would bring other Jews with me and set up a Jewish community. You know, we'd have, you'd have a sofer, and you'd have you'd have all the things that you have here in Pico Robertson.
There's
right?
a Chabad in Hawaii.
That's not enough, right? You need like a whole community. You know, you'd have to have the restaurants and the markets and the place you go to shop for this and the tamchet. You know what I mean? It's like if you had like the entire Jewish community, I would do that. Short of that, you can't move to Hawaii. Even though it's beautiful there, I would move to my beach out in Malibu. You know, I'd get a big old house near there and just go surfing every day. That's what I would do.
If you could sleep with any actress in her prime who has been on the silver screen in the last 50 years, who would it be?
Well, I used to have a big crush on Farrah Fawcett when I was like in high school.
Oh, Farrah Fawcett, yeah. I like Jacqueline Smith.